doing? Oh, thank you. Heading to bed. I hope you feel better. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your support committed to the journey. I hope you feel better. That flu is something else. It's out here too. Traitors is still on. I actually have not even started the review yet, and I was late. But thank you for stopping by. I appreciate your support. Appreciate your like. I'm on my way to bed myself. I'm just waiting for the last part of this and to see if anyone else is going to stop by. I'm just going to give my live review anyway. So thank you so much. And I hope you feel better. I hope you're drinking a lot of fluids too. I'm trying to drink my water. Okay, let me see what she's going to do. I didn't think Danielle was this dumb. Oh my goodness, this is going to be a mess. I'll start from the beginning before I say what is happening. Okay, Danielle, we start at the beginning. It's actually still at the very end. This is Traitors. Okay, that just gonna. Welcome to Sandra P's Gen Xtra. I appreciate anybody stopping by. Team Replay, I appreciate you stopping by. We still start off this week with, this is Traitors US Season 3, Episode 9, A Silent Assassin. And that's based on something Danielle says. She actually calls Carolyn a silent assassin. So Carolyn, this is the end of last week. Carolyn is realizing that Danielle and Brittany are too close. Danielle's trying to gaslight Carolyn and bring Brittany in as another traitor because they have a choice. They can bring in another traitor or they can murder. Carolyn decides she'd just rather go ahead and murder because they can't agree on who they're going to bring in as a traitor. So Danielle floats Dylan. That's a hard no from Carolyn. She says Sam is smarter than people think also. Also, they float Dolores. They're both hard no's. So that creepy song comes on where darkness is into the night and pray that you won't be left next and all this kind of stuff. So they choose murder over the seduction of bringing in another traitor. Gabby and Carolyn are the first to breakfast that morning. This is how we start out every week. After the Traitors take somebody out, they start out at breakfast. So this week we have Gabby and Carolyn are the first in. They're chit-chatting a little bit. Gabby is now suspicious of Danielle. So Carolyn is just playing along because Carolyn would also like to get Danielle out of there. If the Traitors still don't trust each other, they're still against each other. Carolyn's going along with what Gabby's saying. Tom Sandoval and Brittany comes in next. Tom Sandoval's looking better and better every week. This detox has been good for him in Scotland. Then we have Ivor and Danielle. Danielle's claiming she's a natural strategist, which I don't believe it. She did a little better this episode, but I still think she went after Carolyn too soon. We have Sam, Dylan, Dolores. She's the only New Jersey housewife she's the only housewife still here. She's a New Jersey housewife. She's actually surprised, and she tells us that she is surprised. Brittany guesses that it's going to be Dylan or Sam. So that's who we're waiting to come to breakfast to find out who the Traitors got rid of. There's cheering, and then there's ish. That's from Tom Sandoval. So we come back and find out that the Traitors have killed off Sam. We see Sam sit in the chair that they sit in before they go to breakfast. There is the note for him from the Traitors. The Traitors are telling him that, that's his last night in the castle. He doesn't get to go to breakfast. And Sam was becoming a threat because Sam was starting to kind of pay attention to what was going along. And he was still actually being more vocal. So we learned that nobody believed that Dylan or Sam were traitors. So hindsight being 2020, it probably would have been a good move for them to recruit another traitor, but they couldn't agree because Danielle wanted to bring in Brittany, and Brittany and she are a team, so Carolyn couldn't let that happen. So Alan says Sam is in his eternal gym, and he breaks Sam's picture, and then he tells them about what their task is going to be for the day. It's going to be a creepy chessboard. Alan is dressed in this little red and white check suit and a ponytail on top of his head. He's really funny. Confession of Dylan says that someone he trusts is a traitor because he feels like they're sparing him. And Tom and Gabby think that Dolores is too fearless to not be a traitor. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Hello, Mama Beast. Thank you so much, my mom. I'm just finishing up. Traitors just went off, and I was still watching it as I was supposed to be live. So thank you for coming in. We're at the part where they're at breakfast. They have killed Sam off. They had a chance to recruit a new traitor or to murder someone again. They couldn't agree on who to recruit. So they got Sam out of there. They're doing a chess game. So confessional Dylan has said that someone thinks that they need to bring him along. They're a traitor and they're sparing him. He's close with Danielle. He's also close with Carolyn. And ironically, those are the two traitors. So his theory is correct. Tom and Gabby suspect Dolores. Danielle says she's not going to play scared. She's talking to Dolores and she's saying what her strategy is going to be. She's just going to go full out, that the traitors like to attack, but she's not going to attack. She's just going to not be scared. So Dolores is kind of looking at Danielle. I think Dolores is getting suspicious of Danielle. Gabby says she's been accused by Dylan, but now he's coming around to her way of thinking. Gabby is suspicious of Danielle. So Dylan, it stormed earlier, so I apologize for that. Thank you for liking the video. I'm going to have to cut that part out. That was buffering for a long time. But I was at the part where, oh, I'm sweating. I got it warm in here. I was at the part where they are going to do their game. They get to earn up to $20,000. It's a large chess game. I like the set. It's in Scotland, but it's always cold out there, so everybody's always bundled up. Danielle's in a hat. Tom Sandoval's got a hat on. Everybody got on coats and stuff like that. They bring out two queens to the game, and the queens end up being past players, which are Kate from Below Deck and Parvati from Survivor. They love Kate and Parvati. They've both been back numerous times. Welcome in. I appreciate everybody stopping in. This is the live Traitors review. It just went off, so I appreciate everybody's patience. So when the two queens come in, there are some large chess pieces. The first one is a snake. Alan explains the game. He says that what they're going to do is he'll give them a question or a statement that the traitors made in the Tourette. So only the traitors are really going to know what the correct answer is. So they have to kind of stay below the radar so that the faithfuls don't kind of suss them out as to who the traitors are. So of course that's Danielle and Carolyn. Danielle wants to throw the game a little bit so that she's not a suspect. Carolyn knows they need to win money, but she's going to throw some questions too. So the first snake piece, and Carolyn asked, Alan asked, who is the snake that's kind of slithering under the radar and who said that? Dylan's watching everybody because Dylan realizes he can kind of determine who a traitor is based on what the answers are. Brittany was accused of being a snake by Sierra before Sierra was sent home. So Brittany moves the snake chess piece on the board. That's the correct answer. They win $5,000 for the pot. Now, remember, the pot is at the end of the game. Whoever is left, they can win up to $250,000. They didn't tell us how much money they have in the pot so far. So the next chess piece is a skull. And the question or the statement is, who is the biggest threat to the traitors? Tom has a big ego, so Tom Sandoval answers, of course, him. He thinks he's the biggest threat to the traitor. He has a lot of theories that he throws out, but Tom is usually not right about his theories. He's just now starting to get it together, and sometimes he's right, but Tom has not. None of his theories have made sense. And Dolores, the New Jersey housewife, the only housewife left, is voting for Tom every week. So the chess piece reveals the answer. It passes Dylan, and it's a huge chess piece. It's kind of creepy. Passes Dylan, it passes Dolores, and it stops at Brittany. So the biggest threat in the game, again, is supposed to be Brittany. The next part of the game is a wolf chess piece, the leader of the pack, and the answer is going to be either Dylan or Tom. And some of the players mentioned that Tom's so arrogant, they know that he's going to say it's me. He's been saying every answer is him. So Tom does think that it's him, but Gabby, Carolyn, Ivor, and Danielle think the answer is Dylan as far as leader of the pack. The traitor's chess piece turns to say who leader of the pack is, and it ends up, it was Tom, even though they chose Dylan. Tom was saying, I told you should have chose me, so they didn't win that $5,000. Dolores tries to out Carolyn, and she said, didn't you say that the answer should have been Tom? And Carolyn's like, no, I didn't say that. So now Dylan's looking at Carolyn. He hadn't suspected Carolyn up until now, but now he's looking at Carolyn. Of course, as the viewer, we know that the two traitors left are Carolyn and Danielle. But up until this week, Danielle was the only one with any suspicion on her, and that's because of her own actions. So the last question is going to be, whose voice is the most irrelevant. Carolyn chooses herself. And that's been a theme. Carolyn always says that she feels like nobody ever listens to her, even when she has good ideas. And that's because of her demeanor. She's so scattered and all over the place. Most people don't think that she knows what she's talking about. But that's helped her in this game so far because it's helped her fly under the radar. But she chooses herself. And unfortunately, this puts her on Dylan's radar as she could possibly be a traitor. So the big chess piece goes around and that answer is correct. So they win that $5,000. Alan tells them, meet him back at the castle. They're going to have a round table. So back at the castle, Dylan tells Tom that now he's Carolyn. He tells him why. He said during the game, the finger was pointed at her by Dolores. And also he felt like Carolyn was acting suspicious. Confessional Carolyn realizes that Danielle might have set her up in the game. And Danielle was saying in her confessional, she did intend to set Carolyn up in the game, and she did. So Ivor is still suspicious of Danielle, and he tells this to Tom and to Carolyn. Ivor doesn't think that Carolyn could actually pull off being a traitor because of her demeanor, how she walks around like she's so confused about everything. He said that she deserves an Oscar if she is a traitor. So Carolyn and Dylan are talking. Dylan suspects Carolyn. Of course, he doesn't tell her that, but he thinks it's either her or Danielle, and they're both his two closest allies. The fact that he's still in the game, that's another reason why he thinks a traitor is still trying to keep him in the game. Dolores is trying to come in the room when Carolyn and Tom are talking, and Carolyn says, I just need another minute with Dylan. Carolyn and Dylan are talking. Dolores tried to come in, and she said, I just need another minute. She didn't let him in. And Danielle was walking up, and Dolores was like, she doesn't want us in there right now. So now this is another suspicion that's cast onto Carolyn because she's trying to get people in her corner, really to go against Danielle. But Danielle was the first one that was targeting Carolyn from back when the other traitor, before he was voted out, Boston Rob. So Carolyn is telling Dylan that nobody listens to her. Dylan feels bad about it. Dylan says he feels like one of them is a traitor. He's in his confessional. He says he feels like either Danielle or Carolyn is a traitor. I don't know why Dylan doesn't suspect that both of them could be traitors, because that actually is the case. So they get to the round table. Ivor wants to start out. He says he feels like there are two traitors left. He doesn't know which two, but he feels like, there are two left. Gabby cuts him off. He asks her to be able to, if he can finish. He wants to cast his vote for Carolyn. They said it's too soon for that. They're not voting yet. Everybody's gonna state their case. So Carolyn calls out Danielle. She says a faithful shouldn't lie. Danielle started out the game with a lie. She wants to know, why did Danielle, and this is going back weeks ago, when Danielle first put Carolyn on notice that she was going after her. Danielle mentioned Carolyn's name to Brittany, that Carolyn might be a traitor. This was before Carolyn knew they had problems. So Danielle ends up being better at her arguments than Carolyn, because people have been suspicious of Danielle, but Carolyn is not good at trying to get her point across. And when the votes come in, it ends up, let's see, Danielle claims that before we get to the votes, Danielle, when she's stating her case, she claims that she's scared to mention Carolyn by name because of what Carolyn might do to her. She calls Carolyn a silent assassin. That's also the title of this episode. Carolyn says she feels alone in the game. She's always felt alone. She said nobody listens to her. She tries to confirm this with Dylan, who agrees, yeah, Carolyn came to me and feels like nobody listens to her. And Tom Sandoval interrupts to say, I never felt that Carolyn is aggressive, which is true. She's not aggressive. She's scattered and she's all over the place, but she's not aggressive. So they decide they got enough information from Danielle and Carolyn, who are really the only two on anybody's radar, and they start to vote. So confessional Danielle says that she hoped that she's manipulated enough to get enough votes for Carolyn to get her out of there. Danielle still wants another person to take the place beside her as traitor. So Carolyn cries that she went after Danielle too soon, and she ends up being right. But she had to, because Danielle targeted her early. Ivor votes for Carolyn, and he said the only reason he does vote for her is because he feels like she lost the argument, in his opinion. And I think she did. She didn't have a very good roundtable. Dolores votes for Tom again. Tom ends up voting for Dolores, so they point fingers at each other. They kind of cancel each other's vote out. Gabby votes for Danielle. Tom Well, I said Tom voted for Dolores. Brittany votes for Carolyn because she would be the best traitor to watch. She said she doesn't think Carolyn anybody would suspect her of being a traitor, but she would be a good traitor to watch if she were a traitor. So Brittany votes for Carolyn. The tie-breaking vote is Dylan. Dylan votes for Carolyn as well. So that was 2 votes for Danielle, 3 votes for Carolyn. Carolyn is banished. She gets up to the circle of truth and makes this long speech about she just wanted to come into the game and have fun in the game. And being a traitor is no fun. So the round table, it dawns on them they did catch a traitor. They start jumping up, screaming. They're happy that they caught a traitor. And Danielle lives another day. So this is going to be good now that Danielle is in. Danielle is in the tour by herself, and I feel like it ran long. It was like 1 hour and 2 minutes because I was supposed to go live at 10 and it was after 10, and Alan was still talking to Danielle. So he's giving Danielle an opportunity to bring another traitor in, which is what she has always wanted. She wanted to bring Brittany in last week. Carolyn would not let her because they've been in an alliance. Brittany is also from Big Brother. So those 2 are from Big Brother, and evidently Brittany has betrayed Danielle in the game, in the Big Brother game, and stop Danielle from winning the money. So I don't know why Danielle's so anxious to get Brittany in there. I think Brittany's going to end up probably taking the whole pot because it looks like Danielle is going to choose Brittany to come in and be a traitor. So that was the end of the episode. It was a pretty good episode. It went away. I didn't expect it to go. Carolyn being banished. But we'll see what happens with Danielle, and it looks like she's going to choose Brittany to be her fellow traitor. So that was a quick review. It's right at 20 minutes. It's going to end up being shorter than that because somewhere around the middle, my internet went out. We had a storm here today, and it wasn't really a storm. It was like snowflakes, maybe a couple. So I'll have to cut that out in the middle. Thank you for your likes. Thank you for joining the live version of Traitors. And Mama B says, yeah, I kept buffering. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Committed to the Journey was in here and was not feeling well. So I hope she feels better. I appreciate everybody that came in during the live. And I'm going to go in. I'm actually going to have to do some slicing and dicing and make sure the long buffering part of the episode gets out of there. But this was a pretty good episode. This was pretty good. So now we got Carolyn revealed as a traitor. The Faithfuls finally found another traitor. Danielle, she kind of broke down at the end. She was just crying in her little church hat, and everybody was trying to console her. I think she might be doing a little bit too much. So we'll see what's going to happen with that. But thank you, everyone that stopped by Sandra P's Gen Xtra. Thank you, Team Replay. And I appreciate your patience during the technical difficulties, and I hope everybody has a great rest of your night. All right. Thank you, Mama Bees. Good night, all.